Did you know Dengar earned his nickname, the Demolisher, not because of his blaster skills, but because he once used explosive charges as his primary combat style? Picture a battle-hardened Corellian, swathed in scavenged armour, charging through a hall of blaster fire, with smoke bombs in one hand and detonators in the other. But how did a swoop racer from the core worlds turn into a cybernetically enhanced bounty hunter, whose career spanned from the Clone Wars all the way to the rise of the First Order? And through betrayals, gang wars, and imperial contracts, why did Dengar always find a way to crawl back from the edge? Today we uncover the life of Dengar, the hunter who refused to die. Dengar's story begins on Corellia, a world famous for producing daredevils, smugglers, and speed demons. He was no exception. His early years were spent swoop racing, taking insane risks for prize credits and street fame. His closest friend, Hill Purpura, shared the same obsession with speed and danger. But Corellia's underworld didn't just value racers, it valued fighters. Dengar transitioned into gladiatorial combat, where survival meant learning to read opponents as quickly as you could draw a weapon. These brutal contests didn't reward elegance, they rewarded resilience. When the Clone Wars erupted, that same resilience earned him mercenary work, and soon his swoop racing days were far behind him. Comment below, if you had to survive in the galaxy's underworld, would you rather have Dengar's brute force or a more subtle, stealthy skill set? What would it take for an ex-racer and arena fighter to end up shoulder to shoulder with Boba Fett himself? Dengar's reputation as a brawler caught the attention of Krayt's Claw, a crew of elite bounty hunters led by a young Boba Fett. Alongside Bossk, he took on one of the gang's most dangerous early jobs, guarding a mysterious cargo aboard a high-speed subterranean train on Quarzite. The client was Lord Atua Blank, a tyrant who wanted his bride delivered without incident. The problem? The bride didn't want to be delivered. Asajj Ventress hijacked the mission, and the train turned into a running battlefield. Dengar fought off cage warriors, tossing adhesive grenades and smashing enemies into bulkheads. But the fight turned against him. He was thrown from the train, leaving him battered but alive. If you love uncovering the hidden histories of Star Wars' most dangerous figures, make sure to subscribe, because the real twists in Dengar's story are still ahead. Once you've been humiliated on a high-profile job, how do you rebuild your standing in the galaxy's deadliest profession? Dengar didn't vanish after Quarzite. He simply shifted employers. The Hutt cartel became his next big paycheck, using him for jobs where intimidation was more valuable than subtlety. One of the most dangerous came when Maul, Savage Opress, and the Death Watch attempted to muscle in on Hutt business. The meeting was supposed to be a negotiation, until Maul's forces stormed the planet. Dengar wasn't just some hired gun, he was part of the last line of defense. Smoke bombs, thermal detonators, and sheer stubbornness kept him in the fight long enough to cover a retreat for the Hutts. This skirmish marked him as a hunter willing to take on Sith-trained killers, a dangerous but reputation-building move. But wars change, and with the Republic becoming the Empire, opportunities for freelance hunters shrank. Many vanished, or turned pirate. Dengar, however, stayed active, always finding a niche where the credits flowed. So when the galaxy's most feared enforcer, Darth Vader, calls for you by name, do you answer or run? Dengar answered. By the height of the Galactic Civil War, he was one of the bounty hunters summoned to the Executor by Vader himself. The mission? Track down the Millennium Falcon. He stood on that deck beside Bossk, IG-88, Forlom, Zuckuss, and of course, Boba Fett. Boba ultimately claimed Han Solo's capture, but Dengar wasn't done with the Corellian smuggler. On Nar Shaddaa, Han and Chewbacca were laying low when Dengar confronted them, blasters ready. But the walking pile of bandages, as Han mocked him, underestimated Solo's street smarts. With a quick distraction from Chewie, Han blasted Dengar in the back, knocking him cold. Humiliating, yes. Career-ending, not for Dengar. If anything, it fueled his obsession with taking down Solo. But what happens when chasing one smuggler turns into a high-stakes game involving Sith Lords, rebel agents, and double-crossing fellow hunters? Dengar's vendetta against Han briefly paused when the opportunity knocked in the form of another Imperial job. Hired again in the Darth Vader comics era, he was tasked with tracking Dr. Aphra, a rogue archaeologist with a knack for surviving impossible odds. But Aphra wasn't his only connection. Dengar crossed paths with Boilert Valance, an ex-Imperial turned mercenary. At first, he worked alongside Valance in an operation orchestrated by the Hidden Hand, a shadowy network of bounty hunters seeking to assassinate Vader himself. It was here Dengar's true survival skills showed, loyalty only to his own skin. At the right moment, he betrayed Valance and the rest of the crew, selling their plans to the highest bidder, Vader included. In the end, Dengar walked away alive, pockets lined, reputation intact, trusted by no one. When the Empire finally fell, what future could a man like Dengar carve out in a galaxy shifting to the New Republic era? After the Battle of Endor and the collapse of Imperial authority, Dengar didn't retire. He adapted. Joining fellow hunters Jasamari and Embo, he ran missions for the New Republic, using his underworld experience to help take down remaining Imperial warlords. In return, he earned a pardon for his past crimes. Later in life, Dengar underwent extensive cybernetic modifications. The changes were so extreme that many believe he became Hrothgar Deng, the heavily modified hunter seen in The Rise of Skywalker. Whether this was a bid for longevity, relevance, or simply survival, it proved one thing: Dengar's career outlasted almost every contemporary in the game. And if a bounty hunter survives through every galactic era, does he become a legend or a relic? From swoop racer to gladiator, syndicate enforcer to imperial contractor, New Republic operative to cybernetic survivor, Dengar's life was a testament to one thing: adapt or die. He may never have been the fastest draw or the most feared name in the guild, but his longevity was unmatched. In the brutal economy of bounty hunting, that's as close to immortality as it gets. In a galaxy that constantly changes the rules, is survival itself the greatest prize of all? Next week, we're going to be diving deep into Embo, the hat-throwing Kyuzo warrior seen in the Clone Wars. You won't want to miss it. If you are enjoying these videos, consider becoming a channel member and let's uncover the galaxy's greatest secrets together. Thanks for watching.